You know what this means. We're almost done. Good morning. Welcome to Life on the Moose. No, this isn't a hunting channel. I'm just getting a little practice in before I go deer hunting next week. I put an old leaf here. That's the heart. I'd call this a heart shot. Look at that. And yes, this is spray foam. I have basically wore out the heart area of this target, and I had some spray foam insulation left in a can. Works great for this purpose. Well, let's head over to the cabin and get to work. What a day. Sun is shining, bluebird sky. It's going to be in the low 40s here today, believe it or not. If you're watching this the day it comes out, it's the day after Thanksgiving. So happy late Thanksgiving. So before I get going on the siding itself, I'm going to stain all of the woodwork that you see right here. That way that's done, it's out of the way. I don't have to wait until next spring to do it. Warm day, relatively. This stuff is warm to the touch. So I'm going to go ahead and stain it. Get that out of the way while I can. Speaking of stain, that Doug Fir is already stained. I did that about a month ago. Don't worry, I didn't want you to miss out, so I decided to video it. Well, here, let's go back in time, and I'll show you what I did. We're here on Red Moose Ranch. This is what we call the wood shed. We should probably call it the lumber shed. Would be a little bit more accurate. And maybe the brush hog shed. There's the stack of wood right there. That's the siding that we want to put on the Spur Cabin. Here, I'll show you. There it is. There's approximately 90 pieces right there. And this is Doug Fir. And Doug Fir, if you're in a wet climate, I don't know if I would use it as a sole exterior. It's really hardy wood. It's excellent wood. It's almost to the level of cedar. Not quite, but it works really well in this climate. I'm going to put some stain on it, and it'll be just fine. I've used it before. Very happy with the results. Very happy. So this is a bevel. They're about 8 inches long, about 1 inch on one side to nothing on the other. This is actually sliced off of an 8x8. Pardon me if you've heard this story before, but I do have new subscribers every day. So this was taken from an 8x8 that a boring company needed to shore up walls of a tunnel in the Seattle area. Found these at the port. They were practically giving them away at $1 a piece, and so I got about 250 of them at the time, and the guy let me have them for under 200 bucks. So I'm thrilled. So let's get stain on this stuff. It'll look all nice and pretty. So this is what I'm using. No, they're not sponsoring me, and yes, I had to pay real money for this stuff. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but I'm happy with it. I like the color, I like the tone. This building has this stuff on it. So does the Ridge Cabin, the barn, the other cabin, and so will the Spur Cabin. If I can, I like to have everything the same, just out of convenience. I don't have to dig around with 18 different paint or stain cans. You know what this means? It means I'm getting ready to stain. What did you think? Oh, here, I want to show you something. So I was told by a painter to store paint cans in the long run upside down, because if they have a pinhole leak, they'll usually self-seal around the edges, around the lid. So what happens with stain, a lot of time you'll get some solids on the bottom of the can or on the lid if you store it upside down. So I just take my stirrer here and just get those solids off. That's where a lot of that color is. Get that stirred in there well, then we'll be ready to go. I'm making a mess already, by the way. I'm just going to use a big wide roller on this. Try to get these 8-inch boards in one fell sweep. And I'm going to do all 3 edges on this. This side, and this edge. And then I'll determine later which one I want to use Here's the before. There's the after. Before. After. I'm also going to have to trim these edges right here, so I'm not worried about getting it right up to the edge. We used up 1 gallon already, and I did 32 boards. That's about what I remember. I think I remember a gallon to 30, somewhere in there, so that's about right. It's not too bad out right now. Sun's kind of peeking through once in a while, as you may have noticed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get another gallon, and this time I'm gonna make you watch me do the whole thing in slow motion. I've mentioned several times how construction, and life really, is all a game of what you have to do in order to get to the next step. I mentioned I was going to stain that before I put the siding on. Before I stain it, I have to finish it. I just remembered that I have not put my cedar fascia on the edges yet. Also a fence board. Save a few bucks. Work out perfect. Nothing's ever going to touch it. So I got to put these on. And then after I put these on, I have the metal trim I'm going to put up on those ends as well. There's always something. Okay, cedar trim is on the ends. It's getting a little chilly on this side because the sun is behind the trees right behind you. But I know it's more than 35 degrees, and that's what the can said. You have to have at least 35 degrees in order to put the stain on. I already have it caulked on the edges, so I'm going to put the stain on real quick. It won't take long, a minute maybe. Just sit back and relax and enjoy the show. You didn't even know I was gone, did you? Did you see that deer over there? Pretty cool. There's two of them over there, actually. I couldn't find the other one on camera. When I pulled up here this morning, it was 37 degrees in my truck and cloudy. And now the sun is coming out. And it looks like we're going to have scattered clouds, some sunshine for the rest of the day. So I am going to finish that stain, and I'm not going to make you watch me do the whole thing. I still have this window in front here to do. I caulked it yesterday, and it's all dry now, so that worked out well. And so if it's okay yesterday, it's going to be better today, because we're supposed to be 40, maybe even 41 up here. Take that with a grain of salt, of course. But I wanted to say something about caulk. Spend money on caulk. Don't skimp on caulk. Don't buy stuff that's on sale just because it's cheap. Get good caulk. Caulk is meant to keep water out. And if you weren't worried about the water, you wouldn't have to caulk in the first place. So why skimp on it? It just doesn't make much sense to me. In fact, I learned the hard way. Several years back, I thought I was going to be selling a house within a few months. So I caulked and repainted. And at the time, I got pretty inexpensive caulk. It wasn't even the cheapest. But the following year, failed. It had shrunk so much in 1 year that I had to redo it. The stuff I'm putting on here is fairly expensive caulk. Does not have any silicone because I want to be able to stain it and paint it. But this is good stuff, and I'm real happy with it. You'll be happy with it too if you just get good caulk. Okay, enough on caulk. Okay, this is the last of the stain, I promise. These boards here are gonna go on my roof eaves. I don't know if I'm gonna get to installing them this episode, probably not. But while the stain is out, why not take care of it, right? My philosophy on stain is similar to caulk. Get good stuff. I don't believe that cheap stain is worth it. If you have to redo it or if it looks bad, it's not worth it. Okay, we are ready for siding. But my stomach is not ready for siding. I know you've heard the song and dance before. It's afternoon and I'm hungry. So I'm going to get a bite to eat. I brought along lunch today. I'm going to have a ham sandwich. I think I'm going to heat it up because I like hot ham sandwiches. I forgot the cheese though. Oh well. Look at this day. Can't complain about that. Fried ham sandwich. That's good stuff right there. I guess it's one step up from a fried bologna sandwich, which I've had thousands, well, hundreds for sure, growing up in the Midwest. Fried bologna sandwich. Raise your hand if you've ever had a fried bologna sandwich and really like it. Well, I can't quite see you. I guess you can leave a comment. Fried bologna sandwich. All right, this is popping. Means it's ready to go. I have all the food groups represented. I have my meat in the pan, breads, grains, dairy. Chocolate milk is dairy, come on. Vegetables, fat. That's all you need. So the moral of this story is, if you want to live healthy, just make ham sandwiches. All right, finally, we've come to the siding. It's about 8 inches right now. I'm gonna have it lap over 5 inches. Of course, this first one will have to be cut. I'm gonna keep the siding, just like I did the trim, I'm gonna keep the siding off of this top of the flashing by at least 1/4 inch. I'm just gonna lay my pencil on it like that, the thin way. That way the board won't be touching the steel and won't pool up water or trap water or rot the bottom of this out. So the first one, we'll have to make a cut on it. These boards has a rough side and one that's a little bit smoother. This is the smoother side, probably where they cut the bevel off of the 8x8. And this is a lot rougher. So I'm gonna use the rough side out. I'm real happy with the results in the ridge cabin. So I did it again. Well, I gotta mark and cut this first one. Gotta get to work. I'm gonna pre-drill every one of these and pound a nail in by hand. This stuff is dry. It's been sitting in this climate for about 1.5 years. It's very brittle. That's why I'm pre-drilling it. Okay, I'm just gonna eyeball that bottom. Looks good. And you probably can't see it from there, but what I did is I put a little check mark where the studs are, because I am going to nail only in the studs when I can. Everything will be caulked, and I have a theory that once everything is caulked, you could take the nails out and the siding would probably stay there. Okay. First one's in. We're almost done. Oh, Lordy, this is going to take a while. By the way, we're going to have to divide this whole siding thing up into 2 episodes, I'm quite sure. I still have to install that top window up there. So what I'll probably do is get this lower level done in this episode, I hope. And then the next one, we'll finish it up all the way to the top. We hope. Let's put another board over there. All right, I don't have a whole course finished yet, but I wanted to point this out. I am caulking everything as I go because that's going to be covered up, obviously, on top of this, and I want it to be caulked underneath it just in case rain gets through the upper one or the top one. So I did caulk everything. And like I mentioned the last episode, I believe, this caulk looks bad now, but number one, it dries darker than that. And number two, it takes stain really well. I think this was the corner I pointed out last time. But yeah, it takes the color real well, blends in, kind of becomes part of the grain of the wood. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this course all the way across, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. Probably saw I have a lot of these cut. I think 5 of these ready to go. And you also probably saw me cut this gizmo. This is a gauge, a guide, I guess would be a better word. Lets me know how much overlap. This right here is 5 inches. That's exactly how much lap we want exposed on every board. So I'm just going to tuck this on the one underneath it. Put this here. That'll be 5 inches. This first one's it's a little funky because we can't really get underneath it because of the flashing that's under it. But you know the principle. You probably saw that I squared these boards together too. And every once in a while, I'll throw a level, just make sure we're still somewhat on target. Okay, it's coming along. Ooh, it's getting chilly. Looks like it's going to be cloudy for the rest of the day. So once I get done with the notch cuts around the windows and whatnot, it goes pretty quick. Like, that'll be whole boards right there as well. And when I get about half done with this cabin, I'll concentrate on doing the longest boards first. That way we can use the short ones for a lot of small stuff, like over there. There's a lot of small stuff needed for the front of the cabin. Okay, well, I'm just going to get going. What time is it anyway? Do you know what time it is? It's 2:45. Okay, 2:45 feels like about 4:45. I noticed the hill that's right behind you. It's up just enough to make the sunset here at this cabin about an hour earlier than back at Red Moose Ranch. It's amazing. The hill's in the perfect spot to cool off real quickly here. I'm going to get going. I am going to finish at least that middle section, and we'll hit this again tomorrow, and we'll just keep moving along. Looks good, eh? I like it. So that's the process. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's raining. Okay, thanks for hanging in with me. Hang in just a little bit longer. I'll be back in a second. We'll wrap this thing up. Good morning. What a beautiful day. I did some thinking last night. We're going to change plans just a little bit. Let me show you. The reason I changed my mind is because there's a chance I might run out of this stuff. And I don't have any more. Well, I have a few odds and ends back at the ranch that I could salvage if I needed to get one or two pieces. But this is all I have. That stack right there. Then I have a couple pieces right here in the deck. Couples, like 12. I'm going to do the front of this cabin first. So I really like how the siding looks. So I'm going to reserve it for the front of this. Not only don't I have any, I'm not even sure I can get any more like this. I doubt they make any more. I haven't seen it for a while. I got it on one of those thrift websites, and I haven't seen it there for a while. So I don't even think I can get that kind of siding anymore. So I'm going to reserve it for the front. So in the event I run short, what I'll do on the back of the cabin, I might do something else there. If I run out, I think I probably will. And it just depends where I run out on the building. If it's just the top portion, the gable end, then I can put sheeting down or some other form of siding. I'm even kicking around the idea of using fence boards for siding back there. Let's just work on the front of this today. If I can get up to the awning today, that's the episode. I got to get this video made because I'll be hunting at the end of, let's see, what day is today? Today's Sunday. So I'll be hunting by the end of this week. So speaking of hunting, if I miss a video next week or the week after, it's because it's taking me too long to get a deer. I'm hunting deer. It's in the National Forest. It's not around here. And any deer you have seen on this video is probably a mule deer. And I'm not hunting mule deer. I'm hunting whitetails. Okay, it's about 34 degrees. My caulking finger is cold. But hey, what do? I got to get this stuff done. Yeah, let's work on the front of this. Get this done up to the awning. The window's in. Well, not in the building, obviously, but I have the window here. It's inside the cabin, ready to be put on. I can do that even when it's snowing out. I can do that. So I want to get the lower parts of this cabin done first, especially the front, like I mentioned, and then we can go from there. So yeah, let's get this part done, at least up to the awning, and call it a day, or an episode, or a show, or a program. You call it whatever you want, as long as it's nice. Okay, let's get to work. over here. Can you see me? Just a little foggy out right now. And it is cold. Like I mentioned before, this caulking finger gets cold. And when it gets cold, it kind of starts to hurt because I have to rub it across that rough wood. I know. Wah. I'm going to stop and get a bite to eat. It's chilly. What time is it? 12:30. It's 12:30. Did you bring your lunch? I didn't bring enough for all of us. I'm sorry. Next time I'll try to remember to bring more food. I brought soup today. Just sounded like a good thing to do on a cold day. It's supposed to get to 39 or 40. This stuff is supposed to burn off. Supposed to. Famous last words, right? Okay, another step forward. You may have noticed that once in a while I'll have a line of caulk going across. It's because I like to caulk the cracks or the checks, even if they don't go all the way through the board, just to keep moisture out of it and prevent anything from breaking all the way through. All right, I'm going to get going on this corner over here, see if I can bring everything up at least to the brackets, the height of the top of the brackets. And so I'm going to keep going on that. Man, they were wrong about the forecast once again. That's life in the mountains, I guess. I did see the shape of the sun. I could see it for about 5 seconds. I thought, wow, it's bright all of a sudden. Here it comes. Sun's coming. No, I was dead wrong. It was just teasing. I was going to say Mother Nature's not being very kind, but, you know, this is the last 2 weeks of November, and we're in the mountains at 3,000 feet. I remember one particular deer hunting season where we received 20 inches of snow in 18 hours. That was a lot. And it was gone 2 weeks later. So, go figure. All right, well, I'm going to get cruising on this so you guys can get out of here and get out of your chairs and be done with this episode. All right, let's get to work. The sun came out just in time to set. Ah, beautiful night. Beautiful night. What do you think? We're getting there. That's a tedious process. It takes time. It's a multi-step process, but it looks good. I dig it myself. Okay, next time, let's finish this, maybe. I was thinking to myself, in theory, I can do this with snow on the ground. What I can't do with snow on the ground is clean up the stuff around here, get the dead trees down off the ground. So I might just do that next time. I don't know. It's weather dependent. It's deer hunting dependent. Okay, it's getting cold. I think it's dipping below freezing about now. So that's my cue to end this video. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. The comments, by the way, outstanding. If you want to see a grown man cry, just keep it up. I really appreciate the kind words you guys are saying. That's it. I'm out of here. Catch me next time. We'll do something fun. If I happen to miss an episode, I'll try to get on the community page and let you guys know. I have nothing else to add. Take care of yourself out there.